Hello everybody, this is Mr. Bowman. Today we're going to be looking at the Alex topic, solving a trigonometric ratio to find a side length in a right triangle. So we're going to try and find the side length here, and we are going to round our answer to the nearest tenth. Now, make sure you have your calculator handy for this one, because we are going to be using an angle, and you will need to make sure your calculator is set to degrees. So if you have a handheld calculator, or the Alex calculator would probably be best. I don't recommend using a web-based calculator because sometimes it's hard to know if it's in degrees or radians, and some of them default to radians, which is not going to help us. And radians, by the way, are just a different way of measuring angles. So we want one that's set to degrees because that's what our angle here is measured in. So setting this up, I need to figure out with this as my reference angle, which trig function out of our standard sine, cosine, and tangent would connect this side to this side. So we have our hypotenuse and the adjacent side, so that's going to be cosine. So I'm going to set this up with just the information I have. So cosine of 20 degrees, that's my reference angle, equals, cosine is adjacent divided by hypotenuse, so adjacent is x, and hypotenuse is 12. So we end up with cosine of 20 equals x divided by 12. Now before I plug this into my calculator, I do want to try and isolate and solve for that x. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 12 and end up with 12 cosine of 20 degrees equals x, since those divide out. Now that this is by itself, I can enter this all in one go in my calculator. So I hit 12 cosine of 20 degrees. And if it's set to degrees, there's no degree symbol you have to put in, which is why we want to make sure we do make sure it's set in degrees beforehand. And we find out then that x here is 11, and we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so 11.3. I don't know 11.3 what, so it's 11.3 units, I suppose, because they didn't give us units anywhere else. So just 11.3 is our answer.